The Bamboo Project podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project podcast. My name is DonivanGray, the future $10 billion man. On the way to $10 billion, I decided I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting my journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is DonivanGray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. I'd like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, you name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. So we currently have over 500 videos on our channel. Do you want to learn real estate? We got that. Do you want healthy cooking tutorials inspired by Dr.Sebi? We got that. Do you want travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. Makeup and hair growth tutorials? Got it. Basketball? Got it. Turo? Got it. Candles? Got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will be on our story. You can find me on Instagram at DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Burn, ANETABURN. The Bamboo Project is about turning your life into a living by making money off the things you already do every day. We made different playlists for all the things we're into, and you can find those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everybody else, this is chapter 3, page 143. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. Today's date is Wednesday, December 14th, and it is 10:21 a.m. Now, before we get into the topics of the day, we start off with my screen time check. Okay, I want to know how much time I spend on my phone, so I check it every single week to see if it's going up or down and what I'm spending most of my time on. Because if I don't take advantage of my phone, then my phone is for sure taking advantage of me, and I cannot have that. Okay, so last week, every day, I spent an average of 11 hours and 29 minutes on my phone. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot. That's like half the day. That's literally like 12 hours a day. Well, let's see why I spent 12 hours on my phone, because that is high. So my total screen time was 80 hours for the whole week. My most used app was YouTube, then Instagram, and then my camera. So 8 hours of camera. That's recording time. That's kind of crazy. Now by category, I spent 25 hours on social media, which is 13 on Instagram. On Twitter was 4.5 hours. And then messages in Discord were about 4 hours and 3 hours. Okay, so good amount of social on there. Good amount. The next is entertainment, which is YouTube for 14 hours. Whew. And golly. My day with the highest usage, it is Sunday for 13 hours and 40 minutes. Not surprised, I did not go outside that day. Wow. Why is it so high? I feel like 12 hours is very, like, a lot.
You have a problem.
First of all, Melissa, nobody asked you. No one said, "Hey, Melissa, what do you think?" No one said that.
A problem.
It is not me. It is the phone. Okay. I picked up my phone on average 130 times a day, and my first use app after pickup was Instagram.
Bitch, I'm scared.
Listen, don't listen. All right, we're gonna see when you pull up your phone. Let's see, Melissa. So what is your screen time?
My screen time for last week was 5.
Ah, my God, 5 hours. Oh my God. Oh my goodness, Melissa. 5. And how many minutes?
57.
That's 6 hours. Jesus, man. Listen.
That's half.
You have to go see somebody about that.
Half.
You have to go and see someone about that. Okay. You gotta see someone about that, because obviously you need to get that checked out.
My most used app is Camera for 7 hours. Then Instagram for 7 hours.
Whew, 7 hours.
For 5 hours.
Golly. God damn, that's a lot.
I pick up my phone an average of...
Was it 200 times a day?
An average of 168 times. My most pickups was on Saturday when I picked up my phone 214 times.
Lord have mercy. and I have a problem. And I have a problem.
But how many? Okay, let's see. I use my phone for 6 hours. And I picked up my phone
Whew, right. And I'm the one with the problem. And I am the one.
I picked up my phone 35 times an hour. But
whoo, Jesus, how many? That's what, every minute? Every other minute? Every other minute is he picking up your phone? That's a lot. That's a lot, Melissa. Can't go 2 minutes without your phone?
Oh wait, it says my first used app after pickup is music and then emails. So I'm changing the song that I'm listening to. I'm checking my emails. That's why.
Sure. No. That's because that's the last app that was open on your phone. But you open it and go something else.
Anyways.
Exactly. So, so first topic of the day is the house update. Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all know what's going on with the house that we renovated last year for all the newcomers. It's honestly, we bought the house 2 years ago, I think. No, it's going on 2 years. Shit, that's crazy. We tried to flip a single family in 6 months. It's turned into 24 months. So the house, as I said last week and the week before, it is now a rental. And at the end of this month, if we don't have a rental offer or a house sale offer, I am getting a new agent, because after a certain point, even if someone is a good agent, they may not be good enough for what I need. And I feel like after 4 months, we don't have one offer and there hasn't been any new proposals as how to get a new offer or any strategies that successfully get us an offer. I wouldn't even mind a lowball offer. Offer me 200,000, offer me 150, offer me something. I have not even gotten a low offer. That to me is an issue. So I don't like that. And we put the house on the market in August. It's about to be the end of December and nothing, just a bunch of showings and nothing. Nobody said, hey, can we come down on price? Nothing at all. I don't like that. So I will, at the end of this month, be switching to get a new agent. He did tell me that over the last day or two that they have been having a lot of people. I wouldn't say a lot. I'm exaggerating. He said we had a few people go to the house for the rental showings. And I think, I'm like, whatever. I'm like, we want a renter in there just to cover the rent or cover the mortgage. And we're thinking about listing it at $1,650. That's currently what the rental rate is. That is currently what the rent is on the listing, is $1,650. I still think it's kind of low. I'm taking his word based off what people have in that area. I think $1,650 is just like for a 3-bedroom. For a 3-bedroom, $1,650. I feel like a brand new renovated house, $1,650 just seems very low. So I don't know what kind of people we'd be attracting at $1,650. It barely covers the mortgage. And then I talked to the lenders a couple of days ago. Our extension is up in January, and we've had 3 extensions at this time, maybe 4. And he was kind of alluding to the fact that he would not extend it. So because of that, we started talking, and then me and Tori started talking also, trying to figure out, okay, should I refinance? How would I refinance? What other options would I have so that we can, keep the house, obviously. So we decided to call hard money lenders. So I called some of them yesterday, and during that phone call, funny enough, I spoke to 2 people. One of them said that I would need a private investor, which I think is a good route to take. The other person said that they would not be able to really do anything because my credit score is low. They need a minimum 620 to extend any one of those loan products. Mine is right now 501. When I checked one site, it said 501. I think it's lower, but that's what they said. But the second guy, after he told me that, he was like, yeah, even though we probably can't extend that to you, we do have an option to extend capital. I'm like, capital? I'm like, what do you mean extend capital? I'm like, that sounds, and you don't need my credit for that? He was like, nah, we don't need your credit. I'm like, I'm like, okay. I'm like, what is it? He said, so pretty much, we would give you money based off of how much money you're making, and then we would charge your future receivables. I'm like, An MCA? A merchant cash advance? He's like, yeah, that's what it is. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. He's like, have you heard of it before? I'm like, yeah, I've dabbled in it before. People who've been here know that we owe a lot of MCAs for business. And the problem with people who have MCAs, right? And if you don't know what it is, here's a quick rundown of how it works. They are financial institutions that lend out money. And they lend you money based off of how much money you had in your bank account over the last 3 months. So if you had $10,000 come through your bank account over the last 3 months, each month, then they will give you about $7,000 just off of the strength of that, right? But what they do is they charge you a daily rate. And they usually have like a 30% markup on whatever that number is that you have to pay back. Then you have to pay that back every single day for about 3 months.
Pay what every single day?
You have to make a daily payment towards that loan every single month, and that money they take directly out of your bank account. So depending on how long the term is, it might be $100, it might be $200, it might be $150, and that's how they make their money, right? So we've been through that before, but the problem before is we didn't have any money coming in. So we were trying to finesse this without having any money coming in, and it helped us what we were doing at the time, but we didn't have any money coming in, and we thought the house would be done at least 6-7 months ago. Like at least that. After it was already late by the time we needed an MCA. It was already like 5 months late, and now at this point we're almost a year and some change late. So now that we currently have money coming in from the candles, I was thinking about using that capital to help. Now, once I had the convo with him, I called Melissa and I was like, hey, babe, what do you think about this? This is what the guy said to me. How do you feel? She's like, I don't really feel comfortable with it. It's not really like she doesn't really want to get into the cycle of borrowing money from them. And I'm like, I fully understand. And my issue is that we haven't had enough money coming into the account where the amount they would give us would even really help us out. So especially if we're paying back, $6,000 off of a $4,000 loan. So I think over the last 3 months, we probably had between $5,000 and $8,000 coming into the account each month. So they would probably give us like $4,000 to $6,000 as a loan. That $4,000 in terms of for the candles, would it help? It would definitely. Well, okay. The reason why I'm thinking or speculating as to why it would help or not is because we have to come up with money to pay for Chelsea Artisan Fleet, which is a 7-day market. And we need to pay for inventory to do that market. That's going to be a couple $1,000s to do that. So that money, if we got from them, would go mostly towards that. It wouldn't even really be able to do anything else for the candles. And we're paying it back every single day. So that would be partly the issue that we have. Now, if it was like 20,000 or 30,000, that would be more reasonable. But 4 to 6 is like nothing. So that's my issue with it. But he's going to send the terms anyways, just to see what happens. And I guess we'll see what happens. How you feel about, you would think we'll say about that?
Yeah, my biggest issue with it is that I wouldn't want to put the candles in a situation. I wouldn't want to put the candles in a situation that would make it like in such a risky position. I feel like it's very risky for the candles, because then if we don't make the daily payments, they're gonna start doing stuff, and it's gonna negatively affect the candles. So that's why I don't want to do it.
Yeah. So I agree. I'm not sold on it, like even really much. But it is an opportunity, so I do consider it when it comes up. It goes on the list of, okay, what are the available things that we have to use to get over the hump. Yeah, so that convo was yesterday, but I don't think there's anything else really with the house than that. I really want the house to be gone. Like, it's at this point, it's becoming comical that the house, we still even have it. It's just like, it feels like we're supposed to keep the house. That's the feeling I'm getting. Melissa does not agree with that. She made a face. Sure, listen, I'm telling you what it feels like to me, because we're trying to get rid of it. We want to get rid of the house. We're trying to give it away. And it's not being given away. So it's like I said, I want the house to be gone, but I feel like if it was supposed to be gone, it'd be gone. Because what are the odds that as soon as we want to sell the house, the market goes crazy, and now we can't, like almost the next week after we got the house on the market?
I mean, the main reason why I want to get rid of the house is because we have to pay everybody back. So it's like, if okay, let's say that we are supposed to keep the house, how are we going to pay everybody?
We refinance.
When is that?
Honestly, next year, probably mid next year, because we have to get our credit score up.
All right, how long is that going to take?
Not long. Oh, but the credit score, we can get to a 620 if we pay down off credit cards. Like, it'll just shoot up depending on how much we pay off. If we pay off a good amount, it'll just at least to a 6.
They've closed my cards.
So
that already off. Like, it's not like I would no longer have that to say that I have like a high amount of revolving credit or whatever. They're closing them. So it's not like pay them down and I can use them again. It's just I'll pay it and that's it.
Sure. I mean, like I said, I think there are significant ways to increase the credit to a 620 because that number is so low, or at least a 600. They can be using things like using self-reporting companies. We can go on Experian and pay to have them increase it. Like, there's a lot of different things to get it to at least a reasonable number, not where it's like high, just enough to do a refinance. So that's how I look at it. But that would be mid next year, and before we do that, we would use the candles to pay people back, and then whatever is left, we would use the house to refinance. I feel like a miracle is coming down the line. I don't know what it is or what it's going to look like, but I feel like something will happen. So keep my energy high. So the next topic up is the candles. Last week, the candles did well for the area that we are in. So we are currently at Turnstile Market. It's an underground market at the train station at Columbus Circle. You can look it up online and just to kind of see what it looks like. We use our old setup currently and just put it there until we have a setup that makes us money at that location. And the first maybe month that I was there, a couple days out of that month, no sales. Like, didn't really make any money. Then we had last week where we were making $100 a day. Then we made $150. Then we made $200. Every day we was making $100+. And I was in shock because I'm just like, wow, it's just every day. Just at Turnstile, we made $600+. And that's doing nothing. That's the setup not being finished. That's not us going full steam ahead into selling. Melissa was at home editing the videos and making the setup. So the full team was not there. And we made $600 at that location. So to me, that's promising, because if we can do $200 a day, think $200 a day is $1,400 in a week. $200 a day. That's it. $200 a day is $1,400 for the week. That is a good amount of money for us to pay for what we need to pay for. So I really want to try and push that. And then while we're doing that, I want to get more into making content while we're down there. And yesterday, I was watching an interview by with Ty Lopez. It's on a podcast called the Iced Coffee Hour with Graham Stephan. And some of y'all might know Ty Lopez. If you look at Here in My Garage online, then you'll know who the guy is. He's pointing at his black Lamborghini and talking about books. It was a pretty old video from back in the day. He said that he had bought a company called Pier 1. And the company sells candles. And they were doing $250 million a year in candles at this location, or at their locations. And hearing things like that and knowing how the candles are going for us makes me want to just focus on the candles. And I don't know how they do I don't know how they do $250 million at brick and mortar locations, which is insane. That's not including online sales. But if that is a possibility, or it's out there as a framework, I want to be able to get closer to that. If they're doing 250, 10, 20 seems very reasonable, and that's not doing online sales. So for me, next year, I want to focus solely on the candles. I don't want to do or think about anything else that's not the candles. And then obviously, I guess a podcast. But that is like what my main focus I want to be for next year. And right now, my goal is to try and shed everything else that is not that, because there are so many things with the candles that we can do that we haven't done yet that have the potential to raise the candles a couple more percentage points of making more money. And that's making content regularly. It's doing more photo shoots. It's connecting with people, because even certain people that we meet, I feel like they might fall by the wayside because we might focus on something else. We don't go to see them at the store that they're going to have. We don't follow up with this other person because we're still trying to figure out either the house or turnstile, or it's other things that take us away from pursuing more leads. So I would much rather be trying to figure out 5 different things within the candles as opposed to one thing within the or 4 things within the candles and then 3 things outside the candles, especially when they're not making us money. And obviously, as you guys know, we need money. So that's what I want to go. We have to make, like I said, content, which includes blogs, which includes the updating the website, add information on there, stories, shorts, post, YouTube videos, all of that. Like all of those things need to be done, and those things take time to do, whether it be the actual process of shooting and recording it or the process of posting it, making it, uploading it. All the different things take time. So that's where my brain is at. So because of that, this is the next topic. Me personally, I don't want to, not that I don't want to do Vlogmas. I think that it's taken away from us putting more energy into the candles. So I'm like, okay, the last 2 days, I think I might have saw the podcast, not the podcast, I might have saw the video. It was like 3 minutes long. Videos like that and the one that I just edited today, they're relatively short. So they can be done in the morning. And if all the videos we do are of that length, then I think it's still reasonable enough to do Vlogmas. However, there was a video from before that I edited, and one that Melissa edited, or the one she edited before, were taking hours to do. So our day is going mostly into that. Like, okay, we got to wake up and edit it. We got to find the footage. If I don't have my laptop, I can't edit the thing. And I get home at late and I'm editing again. And it's like, if we're doing those things, that is time that's not being figured out email marketing, or not figuring out how to do copywriting, or not figuring out how to run ads. All that time can be put into that for the candles. So that's what my mindset at. But this video I edited today, with all the footage loaded up, it was like 15 minutes. So that is very reasonable to do. I could do that when I wake up in the morning. I might get up like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So it's not, by 8, if I'm done, then we have the rest of the day to do whatever. So that's kind of my opinion on Vlogmas. Do you have an opinion on Vlogmas, babe?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Somebody call me. Discover.
I like doing it, but I feel like, yeah. I like doing Vlogmas. It's kind of got me in the groove of editing again and just getting it done. But I think because of the situation that we're in, it's not necessary. We don't have to do Vlogmas. Mm-hmm. It's whatever you want to do.
But I feel like my camera's broken. I feel like it takes too long to focus. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking about. And then where we at right now, and it's just another thing too, is I feel like we can't even put the amount of effort into the videos that we would normally do if we weren't in our current circumstances. So like, we might do a little bit extra if we're outside, or we might try and add more pizzazz in the videos. And it's like, they're good, but we can make them a lot better. And it's like, but do we now take away time trying to make this an amazing video when the return financially right now is not high? When the candle compensation may be higher if we put energy into that. So that's kind of where my brain has been at over the last, like 2 or 3 days, just thinking about it. So I do enjoy watching the vlogs for sure. I enjoy watching them. I enjoy documenting what we're going through right now. I think some of them are fun to watch and it's entertaining. But I think we could make much better content if we weren't, struggling for our life. The next topic is still in the candle field. It's more about the setup that we're at right now. Melissa has finished the garland. I'll put up some video of it here. And now so the sign is also finished.
Yeah.
The sign is finished. The garland is finished. The next and pretty much last thing is the candle. Yeah, so like I said, we're trying to turn it up at Turnstile, and we're gonna start posting more on the candle page. If you're not following it, the candle page is MBURCANDLE Co. Ember Candle Co. And you can see a lot of stuff we're trying to do and push over there. Yeah, that is almost. I think the return on that is gonna be high. We have seen little spikes. Every time we add something, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, we see some spike. So now that we have the candles that are coming to the craft fairs, now that we have the inventory at the fair, we have the lights, we have, honestly, when we first started, we didn't even have the red sheet. We had the brown one. So now we have the red sheet. We're going to have the garland, the new sign, and we had some lights. And I actually want to tell you this from yesterday too. Two things. I think that the stockings definitely grab people's attention for sure when they walk by, right? And because yesterday was so slow, I can't tell how much of an impact it has, but I definitely know that people were walking by and they would point out the fact that they were in stockings. But again, sales. I want the money. That's cute that you see it, but I need money.
You could throw some of the little baby lights in there too.
That's a good idea because some of them are really dark, so that's a good idea. Like you're talking about which baby lights? The little bee by. I didn't even think about that. Definitely doing that. Yeah, they're not bright enough. So that's a great idea. And because they're metal, they might be able to stick on the thing and shine on it. Bro, you know what's crazy? So yesterday when I put the candle inside, and I bought magnets too. So because the magnet is on the wall, the magnetism went through one candle and held the second candle up. And I'm like, I wonder if they'll do that with the lights. Like now the lights could kind of be on the candle, but inside of the stocking. Yeah, you have to show me. Yeah. Next topic is Melissa is going to her brother's photo shoot today, and this has sparked a conversation. And I'm curious for all the older family members, and that's not what I mean. All the older siblings, like if you're the oldest, how do you guys go about seeing your younger sibling do something that you think is not good or wrong? How do you go, do you tell them that it's a mistake, or do you let them just go and experience the mistake? Me personally, actually, let me think.
I'm not an older sibling.
You said what?
I'm not an older sibling.
That don't mean people don't be wanting stuff from me, and I gotta talk to people about stuff.
You're not an older sibling.
People be acting like I am.
Preface your conversation with that.
Melissa wants me to tell y'all that I am one of the younger. Actually, I'm technically
You're the youngest.
I'm older. I'm older than my cousin.
What?
So
You are the youngest.
And I had Hadassah.
You're the youngest.
I had Hadassah.
You're the youngest.
I had Hadassah.
Hadassah was not with you every day.
She was with me a lot when I was younger.
You were the youngest.
She was there a lot. So there was her, and then I go to school. Everybody wants to be under me, like, "Oh my God, Donovan, you're so cool and amazing and handsome."
Between you and Neffy, you're the youngest.
Sure, but I'm not like the youngest all the time.
Majority of the time.
Not true. Majority of the time, I'm a single child. I lived with Neffy when I was younger. Then I lived with my dad by myself. And that whole time, I was the older sibling to my cousin.
You were the youngest.
And then when I had Buddy,
You're the youngest.
I was older than him, man. I was around him when I was around Neffy.
But you're the youngest.
That's the thing. Now you think about it.
Not the oldest.
I might have to put myself in that category because. No. What you mean no? How you gonna say no?
You were never the oldest.
I was older than Buddy.
The oldest.
I was older than Buddy.
That doesn't matter.
How does that not matter?
Because Hadassah will go home.
Sometimes.
What you mean sometimes?
She would stay at the house a lot. She would be there almost every day for a while. Like, cause she was.
For how long is a while? A couple months?
Sure.
When you're the oldest sibling, they never go away. They are always there for
years. Even with Neffy, I would leave. I would go to my dad's house for
years.
I would go to my dad's house.
4 years.
You keep saying that as if my Neffy and Jasmine is older one too, and she was never there. Again, they're not. As I'm saying, it's like I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know. Right. Your circumstances, you live with them for your whole life.
Your situation is more complicated. So, but I still wouldn't peg you as the oldest.
So, do you think I have younger child tendencies?
Yes.
Like
absolutely.
what? Like what, Melissa?
You're disrespectful. You have no care for authority. Like that is yes. You question everything. And then when, like I said, the main two things for the youngest child is like either like disrespectful and no care for authority, which makes sense because it's like you kind of get to see how the older people, like the older siblings, go about things and decide what you want to deal with, what you don't want to deal with. Versus being an older child, you the first one. There's nobody in front of me. There's no way for me to see like, oh, okay, when mom does this, she really means that because she's doing it to me. There's no one for me to watch and see who she doing it with. She's doing it with me. So
the only thing I would say as far as being an older sibling, if you're saying that I wasn't one, is that that's your opinion.
That is not your gang. That is not your clique. That is not the set that you run.
I think I want to join the gang now. I think I want to be. I think the only thing I would say is that I never had the trauma of being an only child and then being the oldest and then having to take care of another person that's younger. Because even though I am the oldest, I was never in charge of having to really watch the other ones. I was more like an older cousin or something.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They go home. They're not here all the time. Bro, I would never forget. There was times where I would get blacked on for not babysitting, and I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" You know what? I'm speaking too much. So, yes, no one has put the responsibility of somebody else on you.
Yes, right.
And that's what makes you. That's what makes an older child an older child. The responsibility of having to look out for the younger kids. Yeah,
so I guess I would stay in the not older,
right? Stay in
oldest sibling category, I guess. But so here's the situation. Melissa has a brother who found a photo shoot online, like through Google, right? I don't know if he wants to be a model per se.
Through Instagram.
Oh, through Instagram, excuse me, not Google. I don't think he's like aspiring to be a model. I think he wouldn't mind being a model. Like it'd be cool. He likes to play around with the camera. He's like 20. So he kind of like, he likes to take pictures of himself. He likes to pose and things like that. But as far as like, if he said, yeah, I like to be a model, I've never really heard that from him or Melissa.
He said it, but because of how he goes about things, it's just kind of like he's always had an interest in being behind the camera, and he's always had an interest in being in front of it.
Right, but do you feel like do you feel like he models? Like I don't feel like he's ever thought of like himself as like I want to be a model.
Right, I don't think so necessarily. I feel like he more so is like, I like to be in pictures.
Right, I like people taking pictures of me.
Right,
but I feel like that's different than a model.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of my take on it. But he did go online and find this modeling company through Instagram, and they having a photo shoot today. He had to pay for it.
$50
you have to pay for. So they're gonna do some photo shoots of him, and actually, it's not even a modeling agency, because even in the email they said we are not a modeling agency. So does Melissa go to him and say, "Hey, this sounds like a scam," or does she say, "Go ahead, go check it out, go do your thing," right? How does an older sibling handle this? So I have also been, this is a topic that I try to work on myself, just with everybody, because I think people just have that natural pull to want to help other people, especially when you see them going in the wrong path. But I think that it can be to a detriment of the other person. So, a couple of examples. If he is going to take the train over there, he's not very familiar with taking trains. If he takes the train over there, right, and Melissa is like, "Hey, take this kind of train, take that train, do it like this, do it like this," I feel like it takes away from his independence of learning how to get there and make those mistakes. And now it would make him dependent on Melissa. And from her perspective, if he takes the trains and something happens, he may no longer feel comfortable taking trains. So she is trying to avoid that as an outcome. So now we have this dilemma of, do I just let, my brother go to this photo shoot that might be a scam and become traumatized? Or do I try and walk him and hold his hand through the process? And it's like, me personally, I always suggest let the person make mistakes. And I think philosophically I have the right answer. Putting it into action is difficult because emotions always play a role in making decisions. So if I am thinking to myself, I'm going to let this person make a mistake, because I think what happens is when that person makes a mistake, if they made the mistake on their own and they reach out to you for help, that's a better relationship that they have with themselves and with you than if you told them, "Hey, this is wrong," and they go, "No, it's not, it's right," and then they find out it's wrong, because now they have to go back to you and say, "Yeah, damn, but what I thought was right wasn't right, and he was right." And now I feel like it puts that person in a situation where when they don't know what to do, they won't trust themselves and they're just going to go to you. And then what happens is, I think the person at the top who's being asked for help, they now get annoyed because they start feeling like, "Well, you should know how to do this," right? Because they don't know that by them over helping, they now have made that person dependent on them for help. But no one wants to be that person. You don't want to be, laying in the bed at 12 o'clock at night and you have to be getting phone calls because they don't know how to put the credit card in the ATM machine. You don't want to deal with that because they go, "Oh, I didn't know how to do it. Can you do it for me?" You don't want to be in that scenario. I've been there with a girlfriend or a girl I was dating. You don't want to be that So I think that it's better to let the person just fail. And because if the person fails, they have been punished by life. Life has taught them a lesson, right? And then I feel like it's good for them to be able to say, "Damn, I made a mistake. Who could help me with this mistake?" Then they'll go and ask you for the help. They also realize that the mistake that they made isn't as bad as it appears to be. So they feel like, okay, I still have the confidence to make more mistakes, but I also know that if I need help, I have a family member or a friend who can still help me, right? So I think that that's the best way to go about it. But like I said, it's very difficult in the moment when somebody goes, "Yeah, so I'm thinking about going with this guy that I just met in an alley on a trip out the country. He's paying for everything. Give him my passport, and I trust him." It's very difficult as someone here that to go, "Yeah, it's a great idea. You should do that. You should definitely do that," because the stakes could be death at that situation. So it's very hard to manage that, because when Melissa and I first started dating, her family was not fond of how quickly we were moving and us going out the country, which they didn't really know. Did they know that we were going out the country?
We didn't go out the country yet. We didn't go out the country until we lived together.
Oh, right.
We went to. It was more so just about moving out.
Right. Moving out. They were telling her don't have joint bank accounts with him. They were telling her, yeah. I just want you guys to know that it was not simple and easy. And from their perspective, it makes sense. It's like, okay, how long have you known this guy?
4 months.
4 months, and he taking you on a trip. I think the second month we met, we went to Chicago.
But they didn't know.
They didn't know that. But I'm just saying, from somebody else looking in, they might go, you just met a guy who wants to take you on a trip out the state that you don't know anything about him really, and then you guys are gonna move in together in 4 months. Yep. Okay, this sounds suspicious. Yep. So it's very difficult. It's a very difficult situation, and I want to have kids so that I want to test this out. My theory.
Don't be testing nothing on my children.
That's what I want to do. I want to see how it goes. I think it's the best way to do it. But for me, because I feel like I'm a very empathetic person. What was that? You sound like you disagree. I'm a very empathetic person. And because of that, it is hard for me to see someone fail. Are you done?
How you said that shit's so strong?
Because I am, Melissa. I'm a very... See this? You see this? This is what I deal with.
I think your empathy has gotten better.
I have always been empathetic, but I have to like push it down because of so many people take advantage of the empathy. So now when I talk to people, I still feel that pull, like I really want to help this person, but I have to go, no. Listen, I said, how many people do you see me trying to help all the time?
A lot.
All the time. Every time somebody comes ask me for help, I try to help. So even to my detriment. But I think that it would be better for me and other people to let people fail. That's what I think.
I don't know. Okay, so the reason why I'm conflicted, right, about that is because I feel like I think about this too in terms of like when I get money or whatever, I want to help a lot of people, like I would pay for things.
We're not white. We don't help people when we get money, Melissa. We keep it to ourselves and tell them to do it themselves. Figure it out. I did it my way. Figure it out.
And that's why I'm like, when it comes to, I'm like, what are the things that you can help people with, and what are the things that they need to go through themselves? That's where I always kind of feel weird about, because it's like, if I can get you to stage 3, you don't have to do 1 or 2. You could just go straight to 3 and then move from there. And I feel like that's how people move forward. That's
another issue that people be having. So now, you will be amazing because of the stage that you're going through right now. Well, at least that's what I believe. That's what I think. So, but people. I feel like I feel like at every step there's always problems. That's true.
There's problems at every step. So I don't think that because I didn't have to fight for my life with roaches in the basement and blah blah blah, that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna go through my own problems that feel just as strongly or whatever later. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Why struggle more than I have to? If I can help someone so that they don't have to struggle, because they still gonna struggle. It's just gonna be for something that's above this. So instead of me struggling, trying to figure out what is a SAT, what's an ACT, I could give you all the tools, and you could just go straight into college, and your struggle will start from, okay, let me figure out how to pass on my classes, versus how do I even get into college? Right,
but then you don't have that character.
How much is character worth?
Billions of dollars. Billions.
But you still have to build character once you're in school, once you're in the classes.
But what classes are you in?
What you mean?
Like, if you have to build character, I feel like you do that around people who also have to build character, because here's what I mean by that. If you are at a school and everybody in that school is rich, right? Everybody's parents buying them a car, buying them a house. What are y'all struggling over? My test that I failed?
You're struggling over whatever socio-economic...
Oh, you're getting bullied. Oh, they called you ugly. You have a big nose.
You may be struggling over the fact that your father wants you to take over an industry that you have no interest in being in. You may be struggling over the fact that your parents, you never see them. You just have a nanny and this and that. Everyone has their own problems.
Right. And then when they say those on TV, everybody else goes, "Are you kidding me? Are you serious? You are so disconnected with reality that you are on here talking about, oh my, I left my other Rolex on my plane with my friend Bugatti."
But that's the thing. People that's in the same situational thing as that person will feel the same as them. Like, oh my goodness, I know exactly. They will feel it. They will sympathize.
Right. I hate when I don't have my other Rolex with me. It's the worst thing in the world.
But that's not, like I said, I don't think that you are making the problem like a lesser problem. Like I said, there's things of like the same pressures that you have to take over your family's car wash. They're that's the same thing that they're doing too. They're having that pressure. There's I'm not rich, so I don't really know what rich people problems are. But
I just told you one. I forgot my Rolex and my other Bugatti after I left my friend's private jet. I hate when that happens. His private jet don't even have 3 engines. It only has 2. You know how that feels? It's all like rumbling and it's all this turbulence. Can you believe that?
Listen.
You know his flight attendant wasn't even in an outfit. She had on regular clothes.
Keep that same energy, Mr. I want to be a billionaire.
But that's the thing. I've already experienced the struggle, so it's fine.
What you mean it's fine?
Because I will understand the difference. Like I wouldn't be crying my eyes out. I'm like, damn, I hate when I lose my Bugatti, right? But that's what the understanding of knowing everybody don't have a Bugatti. So the way that I say it will be very different than somebody who's like, nah, bro, that's the worst that ever happened to me. Like that's like a breakup.
But okay, sure, but that's not me telling whoever how to do whatever does not now boost them up to being in that category. There will be a couple rungs ahead of where they're at now.
Sure. Listen, this is another problem that I noticed in communities. I agree with the question that you're asking. How much help do you give somebody?
Right, because it's like I think the programs that I was in when I was younger helped to shape me a lot. So having a teen library near my school, whatever after school programs they had, being in gifted and talented or whatever, and it's like if those programs didn't exist or we didn't have those things, or if SYEP I guess wasn't a thing, like.
Sure, but I feel like that's different. That's you going out and finding, like making a way.
What you mean?
Like you had to go out and figure that out, as opposed to someone doing the application for you, like someone putting you in the program.
I would have preferred not to have to figure that out, or some of those things somebody told me about and I just still went.
I feel like your eyes twitching.
Because it's like, I would have preferred someone saying, "Hey, Melissa, this is how you do your applications."
Right. But now, but do you see? But now you got us a $5,000 grant because you know how to fill out applications. You got a lot of things from applications that how you learn. Somebody will do it for you.
It's not them doing it for me, but it's just like it's telling me what's the best way to go about it. I think is the thing that's crucial. So instead of me fumbling around trying to figure out how to make a resume, like I will send it to Ariel, and Ariel will be like, okay, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need that, and I would have known that before if someone would have told me how to go about doing it. Does that make sense? So because you're more experienced than me, she could tell me like, okay, they don't really care about this if you change your wording like that. But I could have started it off with that knowledge versus me doing it, or me trying to be researching and trying to figure it out on my own. Come to find out that it's out of touch and too overtly professional and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough question. When do you help? How do you know how much is too much help? There's a framework for it. I just don't know what it is.
I think you can't do things for other people. And so I think that, like, I'm not going to do your homework for you.
But what if? How would you know someone's abusing, asking for help?
How would you know if someone's abusing, asking you for help? I guess you kind of feel it.
I'm listening.
Do you feel it?
What? Melissa, you would never.
What are you thinking, sir?
I'm listening.
You're not listening. That's not a listening face. Are you trying to say I abuse asking you for help?
No, not since the 29th. Of course not.
Do you have something you want to say? Sir.
I think, okay, so it's a part of the framework. I think that when the other person starts to feel like you have to help them, is that the problem? No, I don't know. I don't know how to discern when to help and when not to help.
I think it depends on, like I said, I think it depends on kind of like what's being asked of you, because some things aren't really like helping. Because if you ask me, hey, can you help me out and fill out this entire thing for me, yes, you were helping them out, but you're doing the task,
right? But
versus assisting them or giving them pointers on how to do the task.
But when do you stop helping them?
What do you mean?
Like, I need help again with this thing. I need more help.
Honestly, I think it depends on what it is. Because are they asking help for the same thing? Is it for different things? If it's the same thing, and your help might just not be what that person needs. And they may have to go about another avenue of getting help. Because if I'm telling you, if I help visually, and you're like, but you need to hear it, like you're auditory, then my help is not helping you.
No, but I want you to do more work for me.
More work for me. That doesn't, see, that's not, that's why I asked, like, if it's help in terms of like, I have to do the thing, I feel like I'd be more wary on that. So if it's like, I have to now take you from A to B and then take you back home, and I'm now doing it for you, versus, hey, how do I do this? I don't think there should be a limit on telling somebody how.
Okay, this is my thing. My last thing I'm gonna say before the next topic. I think that you should help someone as much as you want to help them, but once they feel like you have to help them, that is the problem. If you ask them if they want help and they say no, you should not help. I think if they ask you for help and you say no, they shouldn't have a problem with it, because you are not entitled to help that person. And I think once that healthy boundary is kept, then I think everything else kind of just falls into place. Because if I want to help you every day, I'm like, hey, I like driving, bro. I'll drive you to the airport. That's cool. And you ask me, yeah, I'll take you, right? But then the day I say no, you're like, damn, bro, that's crazy. Like, what kind of friend are you? Not to me to the airport. You know, then I think it becomes a problem. Next topic is having multiple YouTube channels. So one thing that we talked about before is that Melissa and I are very different. No, that's not true. Melissa and I work well separately. And I personally am very curious to see how, if she had her own channel, how it would go. Because I think that the content that we both digest and put out is different. And because of the way that YouTube operates, I don't think that the people that really would gravitate to her content, YouTube is showing it to them. And I think that we edit differently, and I think that we look at videos and content and different, even topics differently. And there are people who I think definitely agree with Melissa on a lot of different things, and I feel like her point of view they'll be able to resonate with. But because we have the channel, I feel like that doesn't happen. But I for sure would want to see a Melissa Burnette YouTube channel and see what she posts, and then I would have a separate channel. I don't even know what I would put on there if I had a separate channel, honestly. I have no idea. But I do want to have multiple channels. Someone was talking in the comments yesterday, the day before, I forgot exactly who it was. And let me see. They were saying to do short. I think it was Dulce. Oh no, it was Axel the Akita. Yeah. I want to have shorts. I want to have a personal vlog channel that we have, and I want to have.
I think the plan was always to branch out into different channels.
Yeah, it was. I just don't know what the channels would be outside of our personal things. Like, how would we separate the channels?
Mm-hmm.
So before, it was going to be like a basketball channel. It was going to be like a cooking channel. It was going to be a workout channel and a singing channel, things like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering what that would look like now. Like, we have a separate candle channel. I wouldn't mind having a candle channel.
I think a candle channel would be cool.
I feel like we'd be one of the top candle channels if we had one. Because I feel like same thing with wholesaling. I feel like when we got into that space, everybody was still small. And I think that we were on the trajectory to get bigger. And then Lily Thompson probably has one of the bigger channels in that space. And at one time, we were kind of similar. So I think that right now, the candle space is very similar to that. And the difference back then, I think, is that we didn't get a deal in wholesaling. I think if we had got a deal, our channel would have blown up even more. And if we kept talking about Jerry Norton every week, our channel would blow up even more. And if we made content specifically about wholesaling, we were trying to stay away from being wholesale. Oh, we're a wholesale channel, let's make news about wholesaling. We weren't doing that. So I think that in terms of how the algorithm works, I think it would be a lot better for us to do that. One of the reasons is that we were talking about our channel recently, and we think that the reason behind the channel's non-growth right now is that YouTube is trying to find which audience watches the channel, because we've had different life cycles. We've had Airbnb, then we had wholesaling, then we had flipping a house, then we had Turo, and each one of those segments we've had videos that did very, very well, but we never try to stay in that segment and make videos just about that thing. So if we had a candle channel and we were just making videos about candles, I think that we could do very well, because YouTube would then take it and show it to them. So right now we're kind of a vlog channel ish, but also talking about finances and kind of candles depending on what business we're doing. And I think that YouTube is like, okay, do I show this to finance people? And then they see it and they're like, well, this is not a money video. It's more so about like you going to work at your small business. And then they show it to a Turo person. They're like, well, this is not really about Turo. It's a cool video, but that's about it. So I think that could definitely help us going forward. I feel like there's something you wanted to say.
I forgot.
Okay. But yeah, I'm just curious how it would go if we have multiple channels. I think it would be fun.
I think you asked me what the different channels would be. So it would be a candle channel. Yeah, it would probably be a Melissa channel. We'll be on Melissa's channel. I can be playing video games. Music. If I have more time, probably clothes.
Cooking.
Yeah, cooking. Yeah, just Melissa vibes.
This looks very dangerous.
Whatever book I want to read. Yeah, I don't know. Sounds like it'll be fun. Whatever I do post. So,
yeah. So, yeah, it is something that has crossed my mind. You can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Mine is DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. Okay, you know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2022. And with that being said, Bamboo Project out.